He played with the Denver Broncos, who won last night. He played under Sean Payton years ago. He's Emmanuel Sanders, a regular on our show, a two-time Pro Bowl receiver, over a decade in the league and a Super Bowl champ with those Broncos not long ago. So you played under Sean in New Orleans. He's outspoken. He's raw. He doesn't suffer fools gladly. He's intense. But I'll tell you, Denver with their cap situation, Emmanuel, this year and next is a bit of a mess. And he looks like he's squeezing everything out of the orange he can. What's his secret when you played for him? What if I didn't ever watch Sean, what's his secret?
I mean, for me, Sean's a winner. When I went to New Orleans, obviously we had Drew over there, but I mean, every single game it was like Sean was ahead of the defensive coordinator. He's as smart as they come. He's seen a lot of football. And he knows how to get his players to play, and he brings the best out of his players. I remember when I was in New Orleans, that was during COVID. I mean, we had myself was out, Mike Thomas was out. We had so many guys that were out, but yet they were still going and still winning. And it's just a testament to Sean and his coaching and how he gets guys to play. I mean, right now, you see what he's doing with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
He has Bo Nix playing well. Well enough to win games. And, he's doing it. And I'm excited. When we picked up Sean, I'm still living out here in Denver. When we picked him up, I was ecstatic about it because I knew that we now had a coach who can go into the AFC West versus Andy Reid. Now we got Harbaugh in the AFC West, and we're going to be able to compete, and I hope we do.
Yeah. Vegas had him at 5 wins, and they're already at 4, so I'm happy for my friend Sean Payton. You also were a teammate of Josh Allen about 4 years ago, so they add Amari Cooper. And what I like about this is I think Buffalo's a good organization. He is a smart veteran who runs good routes. I don't think they need an over-the-top guy. What they need here is 9 targets and 6 catches and good on third down. Your takeaway on what Amari Cooper provides as a veteran receiver for Josh?
Yeah, I think this was a great pickup. Amari, the past 2 years, have had a 1,000-yard season with the Browns. 5-time Pro Bowler. If you go back and watch the Jets game, you see when the Jets played man-to-man, it was kind of hard for guys to create separation. So you bring in a guy, Amari, I still remember him with the Cowboys and how he ran his routes. I think he's similar to a guy of like Davante Adams. If you come up and press me, you better have your mind right to come up and press me because I'm about to give you some sauce that you probably can't handle.
Yeah.
And to have a guy like that in the locker room is just awesome for Josh, who he knows if you want to play us man-to-man, I know I can go to this guy. But not only that, they got a young receiver core over there in Buffalo. So to bring somebody in that has some success, been to the Pro Bowl, had 1,000-yard seasons, somebody for those young guys to look at and be like, okay, this is how you're supposed to do it, and this is how you become a veteran and a professional. So I think it was a great pickup for sure for Buffalo.
Now, how much can we expect? Because Aaron, unlike Amari and Josh, Aaron and Davante have played together. They got the back shoulder timing down. How many practices, how many games do you need before you believe Davante is a real weapon for the Jets?
I think it's going to be ASAP because at the end of the day, Davante is a route runner. And not only that, he's a guy who can create separation. And in the National Football League, the difference between high school and the National Football League of separation, the margin might be this big in high school, but in the National Football League, it's this big. But the problem with a guy like Davante is it's going to be this big, and then you got a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers who's going to put the ball there. So I think it's going to be all predicated on the play calling, honestly, in terms of what routes he's comfortable with and putting him in those positions for him to succeed. But I think that he's going to have instant success. Now, the problem is they're playing against the Steelers, and that defense is stout. So it's going to be interesting, but I'm actually looking forward to see if they can still have that same chemistry that they had in Green Bay, because it'll be awesome to see.
Speaking of the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, obviously, drafting, developing defense, it's what the Steelers do. But, Big Ben leaves Pittsburgh, Brady leaves New England, and those defensive cultures, they're lost at sea. They're trying. It's Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. They're trying. They're bailing water. Do you like Justin's 4-2, and they're replacing him? Now, he may not be all this, but do you like that move or would just stick with the kid?
In playing for the Steelers and playing under Mike Tomlin, I remember when Justin Fields came over here, I went to the game when they played against the Broncos, and I remember talking to several guys on the staff and telling how much I love Justin Fields and how he plays and how he can extend plays with his legs and not only that, like just how he plays. Like I'm a fan of how Justin Fields plays. But when I think about Mike Tomlin and what he's built on, he's built on leadership, and there's not a coach that I can remember who had more leadership than Mike Tomlin in the way that he led. And so when I think about that situation, I think what is the reason behind even a battle with Russell Wilson and coming and replace Justin Fields and for some reason I kept going back to leadership. Now I know Russell is the ultimate leader as well. And he's going to get those guys going, and from that standpoint, so it'll be interesting to see how that situation plays out. But also, I know Mike Tomlin wants to win a Super Bowl, so sometimes I sit back and say, who gives the Steelers a better chance at winning a Super Bowl as well? Because they have a top-ranked defense. Now they need a signal caller who's probably been there before, done that before, probably won't panic in those situations. And I kind of lean more towards Russell Wilson, but towards the future of the Steelers, now I lean more towards Justin Fields. So I mean, it's an interesting situation, but I think Mike Tomlin, when me and Antonio Brown was there, he says I got two dogs and one bone.
Yeah.
I got two dogs and one bone, and it's crazy how it's interesting how he's in that same situation in terms of he got two dogs, but he only got one ball and one starting spot. So he's trying to figure out who fits that position best for this year's team. And I think that he's going to do what he has to do in order to figure it out, in order to try to win a Super Bowl, not just win or have a winning season, to try to put out the best Super Bowl team.
So Troy Aikman was highly critical of CeeDee Lamb and the entire Dallas receiving corps. Who's to blame? Now, I mean, listen, there's a reason. I get it. It's a long season. Guys can have bad practices. But when you get to Sunday, you got to tighten up the screws. If you're running bad routes, knowing it's going to be on the film session on Monday, isn't that a McCarthy issue, the head coach issue?
Yeah, when I listen to Troy words, he said guys are being lazy, but only time I see them really running hard is when they're getting the ball.
Yeah.
And I've been blessed to play on three Super Bowl teams, and I remember playing with Peyton, and Peyton was huge on if you're not getting the ball, still run the route full speed just because you don't want to give anything away, or you never know I might come to you because you might be the second read. So if that's what Troy is seeing, then that's just absolutely laziness. And it goes the same thing in the run game. And when I look at this Cowboys team, I mean, they got to get their run game together as well. It all ties in. It all ties in together. So if guys are being lazy and not running off the ball because they're not getting the ball, I'm pretty sure that they're probably not blocking in the run game as well. And so that's a mindset
Oh.
from the head coach 100%. And when I look at this Cowboys team, I feel like everybody's kind of in panic mode, but they're 3-3 right now. They have a bye, and then they have the Niners. But I think that that's just an attitude adjustment that has to be said throughout the team in terms of let's get our damn minds together and let's go out and play some real football and let's not be lazy and let's go hard every single play. I mean, when I approached the game, I had 80 plays. I said all of those 80 plays, I'm gonna do it full speed, balls to the wall, and that's just how I'm gonna play the game. And so I think it's an attitude adjustment that they have to make within the Cowboys organization if they want to get where they want to be.
I think it's interesting you mentioned that. If guys are lazy on their routes, as you said, Emmanuel, they're probably not blocking on the run. So what I mean, the routes is for them. The running's a sacrifice. So that's a real issue, and that's why they can't run the football. Finally, you played under Kyle Shanahan. He has struggled with Andy Reid. Many believe that Kyle's got the better players, but, Andy Reid, Mahomes figure this out. I kind of like, even though the Chiefs are on a bye, I kind of like San Francisco this weekend. Do you believe, as much as they've won, that Kansas City stuff hangs over their head? You were in this culture for a year, or do you think it's just every game's different? Or could you kind of sense Kansas City is different?
Look, I mean, I've been retired for 2 years, and I still have feelings towards Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs just because they beat us in the Super Bowl. So I know that Kyle's still thinking like, man, we got to get these guys, and why not get them twice this year if we see them again in the Super Bowl? But we got to get them again in the regular season, just to get that nasty taste out of our mouth, and to believe that we can run with these guys and we can beat these guys. And I got a feeling that sour taste is always gonna be, in Kyle's mouth. You know what I mean? In terms of Andy Reid beating him twice in the Super Bowl, but I mean, this week is definitely personal, and I'll be rooting for the Niners as well. Even though I love Patrick Mahomes, and sometimes I find myself hating on him because he is so good, kind of like the whole Tom Brady situation. But I love watching him play. But at the same time, man, I want to see the Niners take him down.
Yep. Emmanuel Sanders, two-time Pro Bowler, 12 years in this league. It's a Friday. Good seeing you, buddy, as always. I appreciate it. Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.